Welcome, deep divers. You've found your way to episode 21. And let me tell you, this isn't just another deep dive. This is actually the start, the really exciting start, of a brand new 10-episode series we're calling Waking Up in a Dream, What the World is Starting to Remember. We're about to go on a journey together, one that might just challenge everything you thought you knew about reality, perception, what it even means to be awake. So let's dive straight in, right? The core question for this deep dive. Because honestly, if you're listening, chances are you've felt it already. Have you ever had that feeling, that kind of persistent, nagging sense that the world around you is, I don't know, subtly, or maybe not so subtly, acting off? You know, like reality itself has got these little glitches, or things just don't quite add up anymore, not like they used to. If that feeling resonates, if you've been sort of grappling with this deep sense that something fundamental has shifted, well, I really want you to know, you are definitely not alone in feeling that. What if these weird experiences, these glitches, aren't just random static? What if they're actually part of something bigger? A kind of powerful, unfolding framework. A way to make sense of all this stuff that seems so disconnected. See, our sources, they reveal that this sensation, this growing awareness that reality is maybe more flexible than we thought. It's actually perfectly shown by Phillip Aisling's own first awakening. His personal journey, which we're going to explore today, gives us this incredible kind of intimate guide to understanding what we might be going through collectively. So our mission for this deep dive, it's to explore how this increasingly surreal feeling, this sense the world is kind of glitching out, connects directly to these profound states of awakening. We're going to use Philip's very first lucid dream as a sort of blueprint, a way to help us understand what we, as a collective might be experiencing right now. So yeah, get ready to question, well, pretty much everything. Because we're about to dive deep into a reality that's way stranger and honestly way more fascinating than you probably ever imagined.
And what's really striking, I think, is just how common this feeling has become. It's not just, whispers in the dark anymore. It's moved way beyond isolated stories. There's a pervasive, almost undeniable sense of differentness that so many people are reporting all over the world. It's actually well established now that a growing number of people feel something fundamental is genuinely changing, like a collective veil is thinning. Maybe.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right. You listening, you're not imagining it. Reality itself really does seem to be undergoing a profound transformation. On a global scale, it's shifting fundamentally for all of us.
Yeah, it's not just a vague feeling anymore, is it? It's like when you start talking about it, you suddenly realize how many people are feeling these shifts. And not just feeling them personally, but sharing these similar, almost identical observations. It's wild. It's like this collective whisper that's just getting louder and louder, hinting at some kind of new consensus reality, maybe. And we're seeing specific things too, right? Like actual phenomena that point to this collective weirdness popping up everywhere, like new data points for this shared reality. Take mass synchronicities, for example. People are recording way more of these really meaningful coincidences, where completely separate events just line up in ways that feel, well, more than random. Way more. It's that feeling like the universe just winked at you, or put on a little show just for you, but then you talk to other people and it's happening to them too, often in oddly similar ways. What do you make that?
Well, that phenomenon alone, it really pushes back against our standard ideas about probability, doesn't it? It challenges randomness itself. And this connects, I think, really powerfully to collective déjà vu experiences too. So many people describe this shared sense, this widespread feeling of having already experienced something, like specific events or whole conversations, even entire situations. But they have no logical personal memory of it.
Right.
It's that really uncanny feeling of, I've definitely been here, done this before.
Right.
But it's not just one person feeling it. It seems to be happening on a scale that includes whole groups of people, almost like someone hit a universal replay button on a shared timeline or something.
Universal replay button, wow.
It's definitely more than just a momentary brain glitch. It's this shared sense of revisiting a moment that logically should feel completely new.
That's a really powerful image, a universal replay button. And then there's the whole time distortion thing. So many people report this. It really messes with our sense of, linear time. One day, time feels like it's just flying by, totally compressed. You can barely keep up. And the next, it feels like it's stretched out, moving incredibly slowly. It just completely diverges from how we normally experience it. You look at the clock and you swear only 5 minutes passed, but nope, an hour's gone. Or the opposite, right? 5 minutes feels like an absolute eternity. Our sources, they indicate this isn't just about feeling busy or stressed out either. Advanced practitioners have actually discovered something interesting here, that certain energetic frequencies or these big shifts in perception, they can genuinely alter how we subjectively experience time. It affects our neural processing somehow, making seconds feel like minutes or hours feel like moments. It's like our internal clocks are trying to recalibrate to some new rhythm, maybe a less rigid one.
Yeah, that phenomenon definitely raises some big questions about how we perceive time, doesn't it? Our whole ingrained idea of it being strictly linear. And another really significant indicator, especially for people who are maybe more tuned in to their inner experiences, is the increase in vivid dreaming globally. There's been this really notable surge, people all over experiencing extremely vivid, really memorable, and often deeply symbolic dreams.
Oh, yeah.
And these aren't just, fuzzy images that fade when you wake up. They're often these complex, multi-layered stories, really rich in sensory detail. They stick with people long after they wake up. They make you think, make you feel like you actually visited another reality.
Definitely.
Experienced dream masters, they understand that these dreams aren't random noise. They're often direct communications, maybe explorations of deeper, non-physical realities. And maybe they're becoming more accessible as our collective consciousness shifts.
Oh, the dreams. Yeah, they are certainly getting wilder for a lot of people. More insistent, almost demanding attention. And this ties right into another feeling that's, well, it's almost gone viral, hasn't it? The sense that reality feels simulation-like. It's this idea that the very fabric of what we see and touch is maybe thin, maybe even programmed, prone to these little glitches, and possibly, just possibly, part of some larger constructed simulation. You see a light flicker in a weird way, or catch something impossible out of the corner of your eye, and for a second, you can almost hear the code humming behind the scenes.
Right.
Like the world just briefly showed you its underlying structure. It's a concept that used to be pure sci-fi, right? But now, it's a genuine theory people discuss seriously to explain the unexplainable stuff.
And if you connect that to the wider culture, this idea reflects a really profound questioning of what we assume is solid, unchanging. Similarly, look at all the talk around the Mandela Effect. That's a really tangible example of this collective questioning. These aren't just one-off mistakes. They're widespread conversations, discoveries about shared false memories, where lots of people independently remember the exact same incorrect detail about something. A fact, an event, a logo.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's a powerful sign that our shared understanding of history or pop culture, even basic facts, maybe it isn't as fixed as we always thought. It forces you to ask, right? If our collective memory can be altered or was maybe never quite right to begin with, what else about our shared reality is more flexible than we assumed?
It is truly mind-bending when you hit one of those Mandela effects that you remember differently. It can really shake your sense of objective truth, can't it? And then there's this other feeling. It's deeply personal, but also widely reported now. People describing feeling between worlds. It's the sensation of being in a transition. Like you've got one foot still planted in the old reality, the familiar one, the one we always knew, and the other foot is already stepping into something new, an emerging reality that feels distinctly different. And this can lead to feelings of, well, disembodiment sometimes, or just this sense of radical personal change, like you're consciously shedding an old skin, growing into something totally new, even while you're still in the same body, same place. It's a profound internal shift that seems to mirror something happening externally.
And what's fascinating, really, is that a lot of people who report these glitches, these perceptual shifts, they also describe specific physical sensations, things happening in their bodies that seem to go along with it. Like the body itself is recalibrating to a new frequency or something. A really common one people report is this strange, distinct pressure in the ears.
Oh, okay.
Often they say it feels like water flowing through them. Or maybe like a subtle pop, like the pressure is equalizing deep inside. And this particular sensation, it's frequently reported right around the time of significant shifts in awareness or big energy shifts, almost like an internal tuning fork adjusting to a new vibration.
Yes, the ear pressure. I've heard so many people describe that with such specificity. They often say it feels internal, not like, your ears are just clogged from a cold.
Exactly.
And it's not just that, is it? Our sources mention other things, too. Various energy shifts people often feel right before a big realization or during periods of really fast personal growth. It's like your whole energy system is buzzing differently, vibrating at a different frequency maybe, getting ready for something big, like an internal heads up before an external shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And experienced dream masters, and those who've really navigated these expanded states of consciousness extensively, they understand that these physical sensations, they're not random. They're not just weird, isolated
Right.
incidents. Far from it. They're often direct physiological responses to these shifts in our energetic state or our perceptual state. They signal a broadening of consciousness. They're basically the body's way of saying, hey, you're becoming more receptive now, more aware of dimensions, frequencies beyond the everyday. So in this context, they aren't seen as ailments or problems. They're indicators of an expansion, a physical sign of an internal recalibration to potentially a higher level of awareness.
Okay, right. So let's try and unpack this with a really concrete example. Something personal that can help us grasp what all this collective weirdness might actually mean for us. And this is where Phillip Aisling's journey, his very first profound awakening experience, becomes such a powerful, relatable blueprint. Let's set the scene for that. It happened on his birthday night. And it serves as this perfect little microcosm of what maybe many of us are now experiencing collectively. It's a story that really reveals the mechanics of how reality can shift. So imagine Philip. He's had a quiet birthday. He's drifting off to sleep. But this wasn't just normal drifting off. He describes this very specific initial shift in perception. He felt this pleasant sensation of heaviness. It sort of prevented his eyes from reopening, but paradoxically, it wasn't unpleasant. It wasn't restrictive. It was actually, like, comforting. A profound, comforting weight. And it came with this unusual, peaceful clarity as he felt sleep coming on. This wasn't the usual foggy feeling you get when you're falling asleep, right? This was totally different. It felt like a calm, almost serene readiness right before this profound, totally unexpected shift that would just rewrite his whole understanding of reality.
And advanced practitioners, they've discovered that these exact kinds of sensations, the specific combo of heaviness plus unusual clarity, they're often precursors, signs that you're about to break through ordinary states of consciousness.
Really?
Yes. They are key indicators of a readiness for deeper awareness, a sign that the mind and body are lining up for an extraordinary experience, something that goes way beyond typical sleep. Preparing to engage with realities beyond our normal waking perception is a crucial physical marker for someone starting that profound internal journey, a signal they're ready to perceive what was invisible before.
And what happened next for Philip, it really hammers home this idea of reality becoming fluid, malleable, almost like water. Suddenly, like, boom, no transition. He found himself completely disoriented inside a hallway. But this hallway defied all logic. It was impossible. It stretched, it twisted in ways a normal physical hallway just can't. Extending out into this endless kind of Escher-esque space, it was an immediate, undeniable breakdown of expected reality. Not just a weird dream detail, but a total recalibration of what he perceived as real. A clear signal. The rules have changed. But then it gets really weird. In this impossible bending hallway, the windows, instead of looking out onto, the street or another room, they inexplicably transformed into what he described as fish ponds.
Fish ponds.
Filled with gravity-defying water, with bright, colorful fish swimming around inside them, completely ignoring physics as we know it. The water just stayed there vertically inside the window frames. It was totally surreal, completely illogical, but also undeniably vividly there, present. Like his dreamscape was showing him, hey, look, there are different sets of physical laws possible.
Wow. And if we take that Phillip's experience and connect it back to the bigger picture, the collected experience, it's such a powerful parallel, isn't it? It mirrors this idea of our currently perceived rigid waking reality, maybe softening for everyone, becoming more porous. It's actually well established among consciousness explorers that the boundaries of what we call real can become incredibly fluid when perception shifts, individually or collectively.
Right.
And this perfectly mirrors that collective feeling now. The world feeling less solid, less predictable, more prone to these illogical glitches. Just like Philip's windows became fish ponds, maybe our everyday reality can reveal unexpected illogical layers too, things that hint at deeper truths beyond our normal understandings, like a fundamental loosening of the perceived constants.
That's a great way to put it. Our waking reality feeling as fluid as a dream sometimes. And then came Philip's critical moment, the turning point, the internal recognition and breakthrough. Amidst all this impossible stuff, this surreal weirdness, a single clear thought just cut through the confusion, a question that snapped everything into focus for him. He thought, am I dreaming? I must be. This is a dream. That was it, the pivotal point, that spark of conscious awareness right there inside the surreal experience. The moment he actually clicked into what was really happening, recognizing the true nature of his reality in that instant, and the immediate result of that powerful realization, he describes a sudden rush of energy, surging over him, a tangible feeling, almost electric. And our sources reveal this wasn't just physical, it signified a profound internal shift, a massive surge of empowerment that came with that recognition. It was like acknowledging the true fluid nature of his dream state instantly unlocked this huge potential within him, a fundamental change in his own sense of agency.
And this individual aha moment, Philip's sudden, this isn't what I thought it was, realization. It serves as such a clear blueprint for the collective experience, for that feeling many are having now in their waking lives. Wait, this reality isn't what I thought.
Exactly.
It's that pivotal point in a broader collective awakening, where individuals, or maybe whole groups, suddenly grasp that their basic assumptions about reality might be incomplete, or maybe even totally different from what we've all been told. Is the moment the curtain starts to peel back, and a deeper, more profound truth starts to show itself, and it kind of demands our conscious attention, our engagement.
So what did this mean for Philip? Well, this huge recognition, it led him to pass through what was called the very first gate of a new kind of understanding. In that moment of intense realization, this figure appeared, a guiding presence he'd later know as the metaphysician. And this figure spoke the first pivotal words to him. Congratulations, Philip, you've managed to pass through the first gate of dreaming. That statement, it marked a huge achievement for him, a massive transition, signifying this profound leap in his journey into, conscious reality navigation. And remember that strange pressure in his ears we talked about earlier, that feeling of internal recalibration. Philip felt it again right then, directly connected to this big moment, underscoring it as a precise physical sensation that went with the act of penetrating the dimensional barrier. So it wasn't just some random feeling. It was, as the metaphysician explained, a physical sign of a profound, energetic, and perceptual shift, the direct result of pushing past the normal boundaries of reality.
And the metaphysician's insight here, it's really crucial, and it speaks directly to our current collective experience, I think. He said, it is quite difficult to do, and only those who are the most creative and open-minded ever accomplish the feat.
Interesting.
Right. This insight helps explain why some people seem to be noticing these shifts in reality more easily than others right now. Their innate openness, their capacity for imaginative thinking, it just makes them naturally more receptive to these kinds of dimensional changes. Those who've mastered this level of conscious dreaming, they know that penetrating this dimensional barrier signifies a profound, irreversible shift in how you understand your own reality, your own potential.
Irreversible.
Yeah. Once you cross that threshold, there's really no going back to the old, limited way of seeing things. The metaphysician in Philip's journey kind of acts as a guardian, a teacher of these deeper realities, guiding those who've shown they have that innate ability to step beyond the veil of ordinary perception.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting and directly relevant to all of us listening right now. Let's pull the focus back to the present moment. Because this first gate of dreaming, it's not just Philip's individual experience. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? A framework for a collective awakening that seems to be unfolding globally right now. The signs are, they're kind of everywhere, becoming harder and harder to deny if you know what to look for.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this idea of a collective passage through the first gate, it's directly reflected in all the widespread weirdness and glitches people are reporting every day. It perfectly links the individual things we've discussed. The synchronicities, time warping, Mandela Effect, reality, feelings, simulation. It links all that to this larger, unfolding collective experience. And it's well established that individuals who are naturally more creative, more intuitive, more open-minded, they are typically the first ones to recognize and adapt to these kinds of shifts. They act like pioneers, really, in a new perceptual landscape. They're the ones saying, hang on, something fundamental feels different here, often long before it becomes obvious to everyone else.
The early adopters of a new reality.
Kind of, yeah. Early adopters of a new reality perception. They're perceiving the changes that might eventually become undeniable for everybody.
So if you've been feeling it, if you identify with being one of those creative, open-minded people, you're not going crazy. You're maybe just among the first to notice that the world's operating system is getting a major update, revealing its deeper layers. And this collective awakening, it comes with its own profound insights, but also, crucially, its own warnings. The Oracle, another key figure in Philip's journey, someone who offers these deeper universal truths, she gives this critical warning. It reinforces the idea that the world isn't quite what it seems, that there are, in fact, hidden layers of reality operating beyond our everyday view. That's a profound thought, isn't it? What if everything we thought was solid and fixed was just one layer one level of an infinitely complex, multidimensional reality.
It raises an incredibly important point about our agency, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Our role within these unfolding realities. And the crucial directive from the Oracle, it's delivered with real weight. She says, you must learn to control your dreams lest they control you. Yeah. And this emphasizes the vital importance of conscious engagement,
Right.
of active agency in navigating these new perceptions, not just in our sleep dreams, but maybe in the collective waking dream we all share. It's about choosing to be an active participant, right? A conscious co-creator, rather than just a passive observer drifting along in a reality that's becoming increasingly fluid, malleable, and seemingly responsive to our consciousness.
So what does control mean there?
Well, those who've explored these layers suggest it means things like discerning information carefully, maintaining your emotional balance amidst potential chaos, and consciously choosing where you put your focus and energy. Because passive participation, when reality gets this shifty, can lead to feeling really overwhelmed or lost.
Right. It's about reclaiming our power, in the sense, conscious participation. And the Oracle also introduces this concept of the Nagwagan as a kind of symbol, maybe a tool for protection during these intense times of transition and heightened awareness. It suggests we might need some kind of mental or energetic safeguarding, a way to maintain our center, our coherence, our inner compass, while the sands are shifting all around us in this reality that feels increasingly unpredictable.
Yes, and experienced dream masters, advanced practitioners, they understand that active participation and protective measures, they aren't just nice ideas. They are vital during periods of deep transformation, both personal and collective. The point is, as reality becomes more malleable, the need for a strong inner compass and intentional self-protection, it becomes paramount if you want to navigate the journey consciously, effectively, and, safely. It's about building resilience in your consciousness itself.
So what does this all mean for us then, deep divers? Where does this leave us?
Well, this collective shift we seem to be experiencing, it's probably not the end point. It feels more like the initial phase, right? The opening chapter of something much larger, much deeper, potentially infinitely more profound. Just like Philip's first lucid dream, that was only the very beginning of his incredible journey. Just a tiny crack in the surface of his old reality. Maybe it's the same for humanity right now. We're just standing at the threshold of something truly monumental. A whole new era of understanding and perception. And as we collectively navigate this new, more fluid reality, the ongoing importance of critical thinking, of really discerning what's actually happening, of questioning our deepest assumptions, it just cannot be overstated. It's absolutely essential to stay grounded, stay analytical, even as the world around us keeps presenting increasingly strange phenomena.
So don't just blindly believe everything.
Exactly. This isn't a time for blind belief, for just accepting news stories without any scrutiny. It's a time for profound inquiry, yes, but open-minded inquiry. What comes next, after this first gate? Well, our sources hint at further layers of reality to explore, maybe greater levels of conscious engagement becoming possible, and perhaps a much deeper understanding of our collective potential, something we're only just starting to get a tiny glimpse of. The implications for humanity's future, assuming we learn to consciously navigate this new awareness. And they're potentially boundless, really.
So there you have it, deep divers. That growing feeling that the world is acting weird, that reality is kind of glitching out all around us. It's not just an isolated thing. It's not just you being quirky. It can be understood as this powerful collective experience, and one that profoundly mirrors Phillip Aisling's own awakening into that first lucid dream. His individual experience provides this potent, really relatable framework for understanding the larger global stuff we're all encountering now. The glitching reality, feeling between worlds, time going weird, dreams getting super intense. It's all connected. It all seems to be part of a grander unfolding. And here's a little something to chew on as you go about your day. Final provocative thought to make you sit with for a bit. Philip thought he was just having a weird dream on his birthday night. Something totally personal, maybe fleeting, just a one-off strange incident, but it turned out to be the very first sign, the fundamental crack in the dam, you could say, of a much, much bigger awakening for him, a profound, irreversible shift in how he understood reality itself. Does that sound at all familiar to you? Next time on The Deep Dive, we are going to delve into something fascinating that I bet many of you have experienced. Why do you keep dreaming about people you haven't seen in years? And what might the Oracle have to say about that? You definitely won't want to miss it. Before you go, hey, if you've been feeling like reality is starting to glitch, or maybe you know someone who has, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share The Deep Dive with them. Let's help more people make some profound sense of this incredible, shifting world we're in. Thanks so much for diving deep.